Hello, I'm Tibby Guzman, Executive Director and CEO of the ARC Westchester. As I mentioned in our March newsletter, our internal vaccine education campaign dedicated to our staff is among one of our top priorities this year. It is imperative that we make every effort to share important information that will assist you in your knowledge about the virus and the vaccine. This is the first of the series of recorded segments called The Conversations about the COVID-19 Vaccine, where we invite special guests to share their knowledge and expertise surrounding some of the questions many of us have about COVID-19 and the vaccine and its safety. Today, I would like to welcome Bishop Leroy Greenaway and Minister Christina Greenaway. Bishop Greenaway is well-known and respected throughout the United States and abroad. He is the overseer of the Church of God Prophecy of the Northeast region. He's joined by his wife, Minister Christina Greenaway, who was instrumental in facilitating this conversation. Bishop and Minister Greenaway, we are thrilled to have you as our first guests, and I would like to personally thank you both for taking the time to share some of your thoughts surrounding COVID-19 and the challenges that are still at the forefront of our daily lives. At this time, I am pleased to introduce our moderators for this conversation, Deanna Beckford and Exien Edwards. Deanna and Exien are both residential service directors who volunteered to facilitate this important conversation. Now I invite Deanna to start the conversation. Deanna?
Hi, Bishop and Lady Greenaway. It is so nice to have you join us today on this special occasion. I hope you are doing well. And in a nutshell, can you tell us a little about yourself, both of you?
Hi, Deanna. Thank you very much for having us on this forum today. I am Leroy Greenaway, as you pointed out, and I presently serve the Churches of God of Prophecy in the Northeast region, where we supervise over 60 churches in the Southern New England area, Northern New England, New York, and also including the beautiful island of Bermuda. We've been here for the last 7 years, having transferred in from the Mid-Atlantic region, and we are just delighted to serve our people here in these parts. We're presently residing in the beautiful city of Albany. And again, we are thankful to be with you today. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Lady Greenaway.
Hi, everyone. Well, I was surprised to get the call to be invited to come on to do this kind of conversation. I'm like, why us? We're just ordinary people, but we're honored to be here. And as Lee said, that we've served in ministry, well, most of our lives. I'm from the UK with Jamaican heritage, and then moved when we got married to Montreal, Canada, from Montreal to the States and Delaware, and now to New York. So we've served in ministry with people. We love people. People is our business, and we care about people and what is going on in their lives. So this conversation is very necessary. It has been a continuous conversation for the last few months in everybody's household. So it will be interesting to hear the thoughts and concerns of everyone today.
Thank you. And I know the both of you very well, and I know that you're caring and compassionate. So everything that you have said about yourselves, I already know those things. So I am just so happy to have the both of you. It is a pleasure. So my first question is going to be, what are your general feelings about the COVID-19 vaccination?
I think it is a great thing, especially in the light of the fact that so many people have died. From last year to now, it is unbelievable that over 550,000 people have died, and people are continuing to die. And so I think that this vaccination is a great step in alleviating this virus and in mitigating this crisis that is now facing us. And apparently everybody is affected, from the president to the pauper, from the president, from the White House to my house to your house. And I think that this vaccination is definitely a step in the right direction. If it can prevent death, definitely I support it 100%. I'm a survivor of COVID-19. As Diana, you also have been. We suffered last year. I contracted it at the beginning of March, or in middle March last year. And really, it is not a nice thing. I had all the symptoms, and only thing I didn't have was pneumonia, thank God. Otherwise, they would have kept me in the hospital. My beautiful wife, Chris, took me to the hospital. And as soon as she came through the door, they told her that she had to leave. So we were separated at the door. Then I wasn't praying for healing anymore. I was just praying not to be kept in the hospital. And I'm glad that they didn't have to keep me.
Right.
But as you know, it's a dreadful disease. It affects every organ of your body. And I mean, I had the chills, the fever, the body aches, the loss of appetite, the extreme fatigue, and it kind of held on to me for a few months, actually. So I am really glad for this vaccine. I think it will definitely help, and I think it has helped already. If all people would continue to observe the protocols that have been put in place. I think we need to continue social distancing, continue wearing the mask, not to be in crowded areas. And if we do not have to travel, we shouldn't, as they've been advising us. So we need to see this as a good thing. And I know in the faith community, there's been a lot of skepticism. But as you know, Diana, your husband, Dr. Beckford, has been encouraging our constituents, our parishioners, and so have I, to take this vaccine. Definitely is going to help us mitigate this crisis and just help our people all the way around to get back to some kind of semblance of normalcy. I am grateful that they have come up with this vaccine.
Great, thank you.
Bishop Greenaway and Lady Greenaway, welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your personal encounter with the virus. And I'm happy that you beat it. And I'm happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
The first question I would like to ask, have you taken the vaccine?
Yes, we both have, my wife and I. She was more hesitant than I was, but we imposed on her, and she took it along with myself and my daughter. We got to take it like about 3 weeks ago. With limited side effects. I just had a little headache. And so we are definitely speaking from example. We have taken the first round of the vaccine, and we should be getting our second dose, I think, next week, April the 7th. So Chris, probably you can tell us how you felt.
Well, like Lee said, I was one of those that had to be convinced of the necessity of this vaccine. I don't like needles. I don't like medication. I only take what I absolutely have to take. So I was not in any hurry to get the COVID vaccine, but I did want to know what it was all about. My husband is very diligent with any medication. He reads everything and checks it out. I am like, if the doctor says it, I need to know why, and that's it. So I didn't want to take it, but I got pulled into it because I was of that age group. and I got some information. We went to a couple of website information with doctors that I know for myself. We had some 3 of our doctors from our organization was on, and they gave me valid information that made sense. And when I thought about it, I never ask about all these other medications I'm taking, what's in them. I just take them. If I go to the pharmacy and they say they don't have this one, but this one sounds, it's similar, I just take it. I don't ask them anything. I just trust that. And I realized I've been doing this all of my life. I've been trusting science. I've been trusting the doctors. Why should I suddenly not trust them now?
Exactly.
And so I didn't really have a good answer, and it didn't make sense for me not to follow through with it. So when I got the opportunity, I did go ahead, and I was blessed because I didn't even realize she'd already given me the needle. It was so easy. I was just like, you're sure you really gave me that needle? It was so easy. I didn't have any side effects like Lee did. So I was like, I was doing good. So everything went well. And I'm just grateful because somehow, once you've taken the vaccine, for example, our daughter took it on the same day with us. She's a school teacher. The schools opened back up, so she had to go back in. And since having taken the first shot, one of her co-teacher, who's younger, had not taken the vaccine and became positive with the virus. And so they had to shut the school down again, and she had to go back and get tested. But we felt much more comfortable knowing that she had the vaccine, that she was going to be fine. And sure enough, she texted us this morning to say that she was fine. So there is something psychologically that makes you feel more comfortable after having been given some kind of medication to make you feel better. So I had to be coaxed in. I got the information, I came in, and now that I'm in, I'm happy that I'm in. So that's how I feel about that.
Oh, so it sounds like education was very much important, right? Just educating yourself about.
It was, and not just education from pamphlets or from people that I had confidence in, from people that I know knew their stuff, from people, not just some name that's far obscured, but from doctors that I knew and identified with, that I know they're not just telling me stuff just because, you know, I'm like, well, I know, you know, Dr. Matthews, I know Dr. Hume, I know, you know, Dr. Davis, I know these people. So, so that was very helpful to me, and talking with people that had taken the time to do the research and to hear from them directly. So I think that helps. Education really does help.
Having that forum that we had for our church leadership a few weeks ago really helped us. As Chris was saying, these doctors came on and they made such an excellent case for us taking the vaccine. And I think all of them had already taken the vaccine also, so that was helpful. And so I think that piece of information, the informational piece, the educational piece is so important, educating our people and letting them know how sensible this is. I mean, vaccines have been a part of our history, our human history for the last few years. We have had to be vaccinated against polio, for smallpox, for malaria, for all these different infectious diseases. So vaccinations have helped. And so I think it is a step in the right direction. We need to encourage our people as much as possible so that we can deal with this pandemic, this raging pandemic that has become uncontrollable in many parts. And some of the islands now, like in Jamaica, I think there's another shutdown because there has been such an uptick in the cases of COVID-19. And so I think America needs to lead the way again as we kind of reassess things. And I think here we kind of getting a hold of it somehow. It just got out of hand, unfortunately so, in the last few months, that so many have died, and many are thinking now is because of mismanagement. So I think now with the information that we're getting is really helping us stem the tide. We need to turn this around.
Right.
We need to turn it around as soon as we can. Too many people have died, and
Right.
we need to be concerned about that.
Great.
Right. Bishop Greenaway and Lady Greenaway, thank you so much for sharing with us that you took the vaccine and sharing your experience and what you guys have to do to come to that place to, educate yourself, seek out reliable sources. And I think that is very crucial. With that said, we're aware that there is some objections to taking in viewed as references. For instance, the belief that COVID-19 is the mark of the beast. How do you respond to this belief?
I really do not believe that it is the mark of the beast. I think the mark of the beast has to do with the Antichrist and with the one world government and with the one world religion. And I think when we read scriptures, it just doesn't pan out that this vaccine is the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast has to do with the worship of this one world ruler. And it has to do, of course, with economics. If you don't have this mark, you can neither buy nor sell. It has to do with the worship of the state and this ruler that is going to be known as the Antichrist and the false prophet. The false prophet, according to scriptures, is supposed to be the minister of propaganda for the Antichrist. And I think a proper reading of scripture should debunk that for us. The mark of the beast, according to the scriptural references in the book of Revelation, it is supposed to be taken in the right hand, right arm, and in the forehead. This is not a mark, this is a vaccine in one's arm. So I don't know how they have equated that with the mark of the beast. But it's so easy for conspiracy theories to get going and for myths and for fallacies to get out there. So I really think it is incumbent upon the church to do some more teaching in this area and encouraging people to go back to the actual scriptures that speak about the mark of the beast. It has to do with the worship of the Antichrist and this one world ruler that is going to come on the scene. It has no references to a disease,
Right.
and the starving off or the staving off of a disease, of an infectious disease. This is to help us save lives, help us save our own lives. And if I could prevent death, it's not that I'm afraid to die, but why die when you can live? I want to live. I mean, all of us know that we have to die, but why hasten the process?
Right.
Life is more natural to us than death. And that is why I guess we protest death. Every death, people cry and scream and mourn and holler. I mean, you would think that we'd get used to death, by now. We were not made to die, actually. According to scriptures, we were made to live. So I would do what I have to do to live. This vaccine can help us live, not just me personally, but it also will help my family and my neighbors and my friends and the community. The church is into saving lives, not into encouraging death. I really do not think it has anything to do with the mark of the beast.
And I'm glad you share that, because for me personally, I thought I was going to die when I contracted the virus. I was so sick, and so sick. And I remember one evening I felt like dying was better than what I was feeling. And I remember I looked at my husband, he looked so fearful.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was about to say, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And when I looked at his face, how his face was like, I was like scared. You could see fear on him. As soon as I opened my mouth, I had to change what I was going to say and say, I am very sick. So it felt like what I was going through, you know what, death has to be easier than this. That's how it felt. And I told a story recently with somebody I know, with my sister, with this lady she knows, and she told herself she was not going to get the vaccine. And then her aunt decided she wasn't going to get it either. And then their aunt fell sick. And the aunt, no, last week when I heard they were planning her funeral, she was in the hospital, she wasn't going to make it. So now she went and she took the vaccine after that, because of that. So, and I, like XN said, and like Lady Greenaway said, at first, before, when I heard about the vaccine, I said, okay, it's not like I'm not going to take it, but I'm not going to take it right now until maybe later on when I see everybody else and see, you know, if there are any side effects or anything. But then as soon as the vaccine came out and I started educating myself about it, I decided, you know what, I want it. I rather to get this vaccine than to go through what I've been through before. And I am so happy and grateful that I am not in the number. I feel bad, and I sound selfish by saying this, so it's not nice to say, but I could have been in the number of that 550,000 people. I could be easily in that number, so I'm grateful. And that's why I want to really encourage my friends and coworkers and everyone that this is something valid. So
Diana, as you know, 27 of our members here in this state died from this virus. And I mean, that was scary. And then Chris had friends from England. She had 20-something people in England that died.
Oh, wow.
You know, from this virus. So we have known so many.
Yes.
And so in any way we can really keep our people alive, I think we need to encourage that more than ever.
Yes.
And as you said, we were among that number. You know, we could have been one of those 550,000 because we actually had the virus severely.
We could have been in there, yes, easily.
And I think we cannot be selfish. I was speaking to someone who works in the medical field, and her theory about not getting the vaccine was, well, I get tested every week. So, you know, I'll know, and you can't get it twice, which we found that that's not true. And then she said, and if everybody gets it, then I don't need to get it because I won't catch it from them. And I'm like, that doesn't make, you know, that doesn't make sense.
If everybody thinks like that, we're in trouble. Then nobody will take it. Yeah.
Right. If everybody wait for herd immunity, then nobody will take it. We keep waiting.
Well, that's how it was in the beginning. That is why we got to 550,000, because everybody was like, you know, we're not going to catch it. And we were thinking we could do it through positive thinking. And I'm going to make my garlic tea and drink my ginger and take my lemon. And I'm going to stay inside. You know, I have family who they're not going outside because they're like, if I stay home, I'm going to be fine. But how long are we going to live like? How long are we going to live like that? And then my husband's family, his sister's mother-in-law, she was in her house. Her sister came to see her. And they thought because maybe they were family that, you know, we're good. Yes, but her sister, you know, well, I don't know if it was through that visit, I don't know how she got COVID. The sister lived and she died. So stuff happens, you know, but had we had vaccines, you'd be more protected and you'd be able to fight against it. I mean, we're going to die when we're going to die. It's inevitable, but there's a way to fight against stuff. We take cold medicines, we take flu shots, we take all the other stuff. You know, whether we like, if we know that it's important. So we need to get the information, consider it, think about our family, think about each other, and make a decision.
I agree.
Okay, so question number 2 and 3, those have been answered already. So let's kind of move down to question 4. We know that Black people were treated unfairly during the toxicity experiment and in other encounters with medical system over many years. This is another fear that we know that people have. Some are fearful of taking the vaccine as a result of that. They do not trust the system. What do you say to them in order to provide confidence and comfort in taking the vaccine? So these people are not people who are not taking it because of the mark of the beast, but they're not taking it because they don't trust the system because of that experience. So what would you say to them?
I think the Tuskegee experience, an experiment, though scary, is different to this. With the Tuskegee experiment, you had the Black men who were taken into this experiment, and many of them were promised medical care and they didn't receive it.
Right.
So when they thought they were being treated for syphilis, they weren't being treated. So when they had all the attendant symptoms of blindness and mental impairment, and some of them went insane, and other severe health factors, they were not treated at all. And so I think as a result of that, a lot of Black people have a lot of fears and they mistrust the system.
Right.
They feel that, you know, they can be unfairly treated. This, I think, is different. This COVID-19 has not just affected Black people. In fact, we have been disproportionately represented here in those who have contracted this virus. And yet, we have, with the vaccine, it seems like more white people are motivated and inspired and encouraged to take the vaccine, even though Black and brown communities have been disproportionately affected. And so I think that we also need to, in this case, follow the lead here.
Yes.
As so many of our white brothers and sisters are taking the vaccine, we also need to take the vaccine. And this is a case where we are extended medical care and we are told this can help mitigate this crisis. And so I really think that we should not be unduly worried about that, about the Tuskegee experiment. This is a different scenario here, and we're encouraging everybody, please, to protect themselves, to protect their neighbors by submitting to this, to this vaccine. In some cases, it is a one-time thing, like with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and the others is just 2 dosages. You take one now, and a month later, you take the other dose. So I really think that there's a difference here, and we should not be guided by the complete unfortunate experience of Tuskegee and other experiments.
Right. I do agree with you. That is different. And, I like that you said follow the lead. If the vaccine was designed solely for African Americans, then I could understand the fears and the concerns.
Yes,
but it is not, and that's why, that's what I've been explaining to, friends, that it is not designed solely for African Americans. For us, then we could see all this skepticism. It's for everyone. There's no, there's no separation, white, Black, pink, yellow, everyone. It's universal, so thanks for saying that.
The virus has no respect of persons.
It doesn't.
White, Black, brown. Only thing we in the Black and brown community, it seems like if we have more underlying health issues, and as a result of that, and seeing how people are dying disproportionately we really need to be at the forefront of the line. You know, we need to get ourselves immunized against this dreadful virus. If you can take it, you need to take it. And as Deanna knows, as Chris knows, I mean, we are battling with that in our churches. You know, they have all these fears, and we are trying to set the pace and let them know, you know, that this is something that can help you stay well. And if you do succumb to it, you will not be as sick. You do not need to get this virus. If you can take the vaccine, please to go ahead and do so. It is in your best interest.
Yes.
You know, just a thought. Bishop Greenaway, Lady Greenaway, I know you guys have been in contact with, you know, people all over. What are some other general concerns that people have expressed to you why they are refusing to take the vaccine, and what are your responses to them?
You want to go first, Tom?
Yeah, some of them I think have, as we have already established, they have misconceptions about the vaccine. Some of them are afraid that it would somehow alter their DNA.
Yes.
I don't know where that came from, but I've taken it. I'm hoping that my DNA hasn't been altered. And if it has, I hope I become a superman.
Same here.
Yeah, there are those fears. There are some who are thinking it's a plot to kill people off by Bill Gates. I don't know where that came from. And there are some who have bought into that, unfortunately. There are others who are afraid of the potential side effects. But many have taken it without side effects. I mean, some have. But I think the side effects are a small price to pay if this can prevent you from getting the virus. And I think those who have had side effects, it would last for like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Those of us who have had the virus, many of us are what you call long haulers. And we've had it for more than 2 weeks. For me, it went on for months. It took me a good 3 months before I started feeling myself again. And I still think I have some residual effects from the virus. And so some side effects, 2 days is not that bad, I think, when you compare it to the virus itself. So some have all kinds of fears and misconceptions. For some, it's a lack of trust for the health authorities.
Right.
And I think we have to also put it out there that all vaccines have potential risks.
Yes.
But I think that the effects outweigh, the good effects outweigh the bad effects.
Agree.
Some of the things also is the concern that it got done so quickly.
Right.
Yes.
Which I'm glad it got done quickly. Because can you just, I say that to my sister, that's my sister's argument. Can you imagine if we said, okay, well, we got to wait 9 years, how many more people are going to die while we're waiting? And I said, it's like if I know, and I use, a female sort of example. I says, if I know I'm having 100 people come to dinner, I says, I'm going to call in help. I'm going to say, you bring this. So I said, all that they did when they realized the seriousness of the crisis that we were having, instead of people going against each other to say, let me get the prize first, people came together and they put all these great minds together, put all the monies together and made it happen quickly.
Yes.
I said, that's what happened because we realized how serious it was.
Yes, but I also think it has to be pointed out that it really wasn't done that quickly.
Yes,
I think
because
it has been in the works since the HIV/AIDS virus began. They've started working on some kind of antidote. So it started from there. and you've had the development. Then we have had other outbreaks like, what was it? The SARS virus and the S1N1 virus. So I think it has been a progression. And I think last year there was this kind of acceleration because, as Chris was saying, the deadliness of this virus and the dreadfulness of this virus moving so quickly throughout the world that millions have died. There's over 2.6 million globally that have died, that have been infected with this virus and have died. And so I think there was this marshalling of efforts, as Chris was saying last year, that something had to be done very quickly. And so I think even though it seems like if it's quick, it's really not that quick. Right. It has been a progression of work for the last many years.
Over many years, exactly.
Over many years, yes.
Yes, yes.
And I think it's also important to emphasize that side effects, anytime you go to the pharmacy right now, you'll come home with sheets of paper with all the side effects. I never read them. My husband, he reads them. He says, do you know what this is going to do? And it's interesting how we would, what it could do. And it's interesting how we would ignore the ones that we get on a daily basis and focus in on this one. I have a family member right now that is experiencing some side effects of medication they took 20 some years ago that they just didn't think that it wouldn't happen, or it didn't matter, or, you know, couldn't possibly happen. And they didn't. I said, but how could you say that that one was okay, but this one is not okay? I says, if it's one person that could have an effect, they have to put that on there, but it's unlikely that that is going to happen with any kind of diet. We know, people can get blood pressure. It depends if you eat too much this, or we all have different things that could happen to our human bodies just because we're human. So, and things will affect us all differently. So to put on a mass cap to say, your DNA is going to change, or we're going to have, the shakes, or we're going to have this, is not so. And like Lee said earlier, when you look at the side effects that people might have from a vaccine, it's minimal to the amount of death that we have seen having. And the hope is that if you do get the virus after being vaccinated, it will not be to the devastating degree that we have seen now. We will not continue to be infecting each other, and we will not die from it. And that's the goal, not to die from this disease. Getting sick is not as much a thing as dying from it. And too many people have died because we haven't had an antidote to help us.
I think this is a means of us getting back to a sense of normalcy. Quicker. This thing has affected us in every imaginable sense of the word. It has affected us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, domestically. It has affected us on such a wide scale. And this seems to be a means that can help us kind of get back to an even keel. I mean, economically, so many have been devastated. Our country, our world has been. And so why would we procrastinate? Why will we hold off? And some people are using, the rationale, but I'm gonna let other people take it first. Right. But if we all rationalize it like that, then nobody will take it.
Yes, that's true.
People are going to die in the meantime. I mean, my daughter was saying that, and I had to remind her. I said, honey, you are asthmatic. You cannot afford to get reinfected with this virus. So I think that kind of got through to her. She was saying, well, let other people take it first. So if they die, then, then I would know that I shouldn't take it. But I don't think it was healthy reasoning at all.
And what a lot of us don't understand is that there are Black scientists that were involved in the development of the vaccine. So it's not like white Caucasian just make the vaccine for everybody. The Black people scientists were also included in development of the vaccine. I saw a doctor recently. She was actually crying, breaking down in tears on TV.
Yeah.
And she said when she looks at her people, that's how she said, I look at my people and I see them dying. I know there's a vaccine and they're not willing to take it. It breaks her heart.
Yes.
You know, so that it's just a sad thing. This is my final question to you, Bishop, and can you give a scripture that would bring some kind of a comfort to the people who are maybe want to hear something that would say, bring them some kind of comfort about the vaccine? Like, don't worry, because, you know, the scriptures say this, the scriptures say that about you taking care of yourself or taking care of other people, your neighbor. And if you take care of yourself, you know, something like that.
I think that there are so many scriptures that we can use. I draw reference to the script from the book of Genesis, actually, when Cain had killed his brother Abel, and then he was still trying to justify himself before the Lord. And when the Lord asked him about his brother, his response to the Lord was, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And he said it, of course, in this arrogant way and in this very guilty way, because he knew it was indeed a rhetorical question. Yes, he was his brother's keeper. We are our brother's keeper.
Yes.
We are all a part of the family. You know, we belong to the human race, whether white or black or brown, or it doesn't matter the complexion, the color of our skin. We all coming from dirt. Sometimes we forget that. From the dust of the ground. We all from the same stock. We all from the same origin. We are our brother's keeper. We are our neighbor's keeper. I am responsible for you and you for me. We're family. And I do not live in a cocoon. I do not operate as an island. We're all connected. And so the scriptures, you'd find that trend throughout scripture, that we are responsible for each other. This virus has moved the world, has moved our government, so it should have. It moves the church, it should move the church, it should move every family, it should move every workplace. Our brethren, our brothers and sisters are being affected in the worst way, devastatingly so. If I can help, if I can help somebody, then my living would not be in vain. And so I encourage us to do what we can, even by being vaccinated. I am protecting not just myself, I'm protecting my wife, I'm protecting my children, I'm protecting my friends, I'm protecting my neighbor. We are family. We are family.
Good.
Thank you so much for that heartfelt, message. It really connects. What closing comments, Lady Greenaway, Bishop Greenaway, any closing comments and message you want to convey to everyone about the vaccine?
Something I wanted to say is that there have been so much on social media, through WhatsApp, through text, through Facebook, of everybody giving their own opinion and trying to provide the best argument. It's not about a winning argument. We have done some counseling sessions, and sometimes we talk about couples and we say you could win the argument and lose the war. And so we're not here to show who can give the best strategy, the best argument that sounds good, because that seems to be a lot of what's happening right now. People are putting out there what sounds good, and everybody comes up with a new idea. Well, what about this? And they put that out there. But it's about what we've seen. We have seen the effects of the virus on our world. We have also seen that in the short time that the vaccine has come out and people have been taking it, the difference that is also making in our world. You know, with diet and all the different things that we do, we change our bodies, we change how we, you know, how we live. But we've got to recognize it's not about an argument, it's about the facts. The fact is the virus is killing people. The fact is, if you take the vaccine, it can stop you from dying. And so that's where we're trying to get to. We know, you know, that our life has a certain span, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to show you that I have the best argument or I have the best video from WhatsApp and look at this doctor or this person from wherever says, get the facts, find out the truth, talk to your own doctor, talk to people, talk to your minister, get it all backed up. And when we've done that, then if you want to pray about it and see what God is telling you to, put it all together. But we have to admit what we've seen. There's enough evidence that proves to us that it makes a difference, it saves lives, and it will save our people because we're, you know, as we said earlier, some of us have these underlying conditions that make us more inclined to get the virus, you know, the conditions that we have. So if you're not this perfect human being that has no other issues going on, take note of what's going out there. It's not just something for us to do, to take up the time. It is real, it's affecting lives, and we are here trying to help each other. I, you know, as I said, learned myself and became more knowledgeable. And, you know, I too want to be able to help somebody else. So.
Great, great.
Thank you. Bishop Greenaway, any closing?
I think it's time for us to pull together. It's time for us to pool our resources together and help each other out with knowledge, with information, and with all that we can do to mitigate this crisis and to turn things around. When I was infected with the virus, my wife, Chris, took care of me, and she rallied. And I think that's what we must do. We rally to help each other out. And as she helped me, it is my duty to help her. And as we helped, we need to turn back and help others. I think our governments are pooling the resources together, and it is our responsibility to listen and to observe the protocols and to govern ourselves accordingly. Let's do all that we can to prevent death and dying, and to prevent people from suffering the way how this virus would cause one to suffer. Do what you can, help out as much as you can, turn around and love somebody. I think taking the vaccine is love in action. I'm doing a loving thing, not just for myself, but for my neighbor, for my family, for my workmates. We have a responsibility to each other, to help each other out, to help lift each other up, to keep each other alive, you know, as much as possible, and to help each other live healthy lives as much as possible. But I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of this presentation today, and I hope that it may have helped somebody, and we're just grateful.
I'm sure. Love and action. I like that. So Bishop Greenaway and Lady Greenaway, on behalf of the entire staff and leadership team at the Ark Westchester, we would like to say thank you both sincerely for taking the time out of your schedule in having this great discussion with us. You have certainly shed wealth of knowledge to these important issues that we as an agency is faced with as we encourage our staff to be vaccinated. We're tasked with the religious belief, fear, and also African American that has been historically suppressed. You have shared great information that we will share with our staff so they can listen and hopefully will be inspired and transformed as Christ would have expect from us as Christians and individuals to do the right thing, to love our neighbors as ourselves. We are our brother's keepers. Therefore, we have personal responsibilities as Christians to others by being vaccinated to safeguard the health of our families and to protect the lives of all we encounter. Thank you both sincerely.